How the CIA killed democracy in Guatemala. Let's see this.
In 1950, Guatemala had the first communist-dominated government in the Western Hemisphere.
This is a documentary from 1962 about Guatemala. The host is Chet Huntley.
By 1954, under the presidency of Colonel Jacobo Arbenz Guzman, Guatemala was well on its way to becoming the first full-fledged member of the communist bloc on this side of the Atlantic.
He's talking about a coup in which the president of Guatemala was overthrown, declared a traitor, and chased out of the country. The man who the country had hoped could bring real and much-needed change had been seduced by the Soviets.
It was then the United States, cooperating with Colonel Carlos Castillo Armas, who was later assassinated, provided the moral and material means for the overthrow of Arbenz and the temporary removal of communism from the Western Hemisphere.
But it's a lie. And what Chet Huntley doesn't mention is how the coup wasn't about stopping communism, but to protect the profits of an American fruit company. And that the result of that coup...
Wait, is this gonna be about Fruit the Loom? No, Fruit the Loom makes... Wait, do they make clothes or do they... Yeah, I'm gonna sound like an idiot. Do they only make clothes or do they... I swear they actually make fruit, right? I don't know. I don't know. Don't take anything as true that I just said. I actually don't know.
would send Guatemala into 40 years of dictatorship and genocide.
40 years?
All of it funded by the United States.
Chet Huntley reporting. Good night.
At this point, the Cold War is approaching its 5th year, and tensions between the US and the Soviets have never been higher. China has turned to communism, and the Soviets have already caught up to the US in the nuclear arms race. North Korea, East Germany...
You know, one of the craziest things is seeing how, like, things from back then are influencing things right now. Like, look at the imagery, look at the way the military was run, and how a lot of countries want to have their country like that. They want to have that lockdown that the Soviet Union and, well, Nazi Germany back then had on their countries. Like, they want that. A lot of countries want that now. That's so crazy. Like, it's like they never learned from history. It's like they saw this and it's like, yeah, I want that too. There's a reason they lost. There's a reason why these former ruling, how do I phrase it? For now, I don't have a way to properly phrase it, but there's a reason why these ruling powers lost or why they're sanctioned. There's a reason why, and they just chose to ignore it. They saw the government controlling its citizens being, you know, told what's the word? It starts with an A, authoritarian, something like that. They saw that like, yeah, I want that. That's what I want. They didn't see the loss. They didn't see. They don't see the reformation, or they hate the reformation of certain countries. Crazy.
Germany and Czechoslovakia have also turned to communism. The Soviet influence is spreading, and fast. It doesn't take long for America to turn on itself, branding officials, journalists, and even Hollywood actors as Soviet agents.
Bro, exactly what I just said. All this shit is happening right now. Not to this degree, of course, where, you know, people will actually die. Back then in these times, like, somebody would actually die if you were branded something. But it's crazy, like, to a certain degree, we're watching this play out.
Thousands lose their jobs over the slightest hint of Soviet connections.
Hey.
Meanwhile, just south of Mexico, Guatemala seems like one of the only places still untouched by the Cold War. Its president, Jacobo Arbenz, is in the middle of a revolution. For the last several decades, Guatemala has been the home of the Boston-based fruit company, United Fruit. And now...
I would like to apologize to Fruit the Loom or Fruit the Loom, however you say that company's name. I did not know. I knew it was a food, like I knew it was one. I don't know about, but I knew something. I knew some. I did not know it was United Fruit. I did not know that shit. I would like to apologize to Fruit the Loom or however you pronounce your brand name. Is it Fruit and the Loom or Fruit the Loom? One of those two. I apologize. I take back those statements. They were made with pure ignorance. Yeah.
Arbenz wants them gone. The company controls large parts
United
of
Fruit
Guatemala's
Company.
economy through its banana plantations.
Is this this is probably the Nestle of these times, no? Because Nestle is on the same shit. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah, now a lot of people don't pay attention, but Nestle is truly on this same shit. So, what is it? United Fruit Company? Hey, I bet you, I don't know which came first. I don't know if Nestle or United Fruit Company or they operated at the same time. I don't know who came first. But I would say if United Fruit Company came first, they inspired Nestle. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm gonna keep it a buck because them niggas are on some bullshit.
Railroads and ports. For United Fruit, Guatemala is paradise. There's no personal income tax, and the company has been very successful in negotiating massive tax exemptions through bribes. In fact, corruption is so rampant that United Fruit has managed to enlist half the government on their payroll.
Wow.
For Guatemalans, however, life is hard.
Nah. Fuck Nestle. These niggas are on some other shit. Government payroll. This is not even bribes. Bribes is a whole different thing. Payroll. Official shit. Nah, United Fruit Company is on something. Nah, Nestle. I don't know what happens like with every country that Nestle is involved in, especially countries that have a lot of corruption. Like I don't know information about that, but there's levels to corruption. There's levels to fucking greed, I guess. Whatever that high level is, United Fruit is up there. They're fucking S tier, S plus tier, whatever. They got it.
80% of the country live below the poverty line, and more than 70% don't know how to read or write. Those lucky enough to have a job barely earn enough to survive, and the average life expectancy is just 35 years.
Oh my gosh.
Something has to change. And so,
1949?
after 2 decades of corruption at almost every level of government, the country finally seems to have had enough. Arbenz is in his second year as president. He came to power on a promise to modernize Guatemala and break the country free from the grip of foreign influence. And for the first time in 20 years, the Guatemalan president is speaking up about the imbalance in wealth and about improving the lives of actual Guatemalans, not corporations. At this point, more than 70% of farmable land is controlled by the top 3% of foreign landowners.
Bro,
Arbenz's solution
that is nasty
straightforward.
work.
Buy unfarmed land from the biggest landowners and give it to those who'll actually farm it. The reform has one particularly significant target: the United Fruit Company. And when Arbenz officially begins confiscating their land and offers a $1.2 million compensation, a figure based on the company's own tax declarations, United Fruit executives are livid. The company, backed by the US State Department, demands $16 million instead. Arbenz refuses. And so, while he doesn't know it yet, he's just made himself the target of the most powerful people in the world. Soon, press releases flood American newspapers. Journalists are flown into Guatemala, paid for by United Fruit. They're told
Oh, this is gonna be a fucking propaganda campaign, bro. This is actually gonna be a propaganda campaign. Oh, bruh. Like he was just trying to do good by the country. Like that's how greedy they were that they didn't even want like United Fruit Company didn't even want like the what are they called? Guatemalans? The people of Guatemala. They didn't even want to improve their living standard. They have all this money and they did not want to improve their living standard at all. Brother, how greedy, I mean, we're watching it. How greedy can you get? We're watching it. We're watching it in this I guess documentary, and we're watching it sometimes in real life with all these other companies having a massive influence in either small towns or countries.
stories of communism taking a hold of the government, of land being stolen, and of foreign investors being driven out. It doesn't take long for the first articles to appear in the New York Times, Time magazine, and the Washington Post, all saying the same thing. Guatemala is falling to communism. At the same time,
Propaganda campaign. Propaganda campaign. I called it, bro. I called it like, that's crazy.
the CIA reports on Guatemala.
New York Times, by the way. All the old news companies, it's crazy that they were once, and some of them still are, propaganda machines. Like they were the original ones. And now we have fucking Twitter or cancer and TikTok and yo, we're so from a interacting with propaganda standpoint, yo, we're so cooked online, bro. Anything you read, you don't know if this is, you either don't know if this is genuine or somebody wants you to believe that a certain country is like this.
Begin to spread as officials in the State Department, many with close ties to United Fruit, repeat the warnings that Arbenz is a Soviet asset. And it's true that Arbenz has legalized the Communist Party. Some of its members even advise his government. But Arbenz isn't a communist. In fact, the majority of his cabinet is anti-communist. But it's as if that part of the story sort of gets forgotten in the papers. Not a single article ever mentions that no member of the Communist Party has any official government positions.
Washington
Early
letter.
1953, and John Foster Dulles sits in his office at the State Department. As Secretary of State, he is one of the most powerful people in the government. His brother Alan isn't doing too bad himself. He's the head of the CIA. The two brothers are very important people, and naturally very powerful. Some even say that they have more influence over US foreign policy than President Eisenhower himself. And there's
I
another.
wonder, do you think this is still true? That, you know, some countries' presidents don't really have as much power as we think.
thing. Both brothers have personal ties to United Fruit. They've both worked as partners of its law firm, Sullivan and Cromwell. Alan even sat in the board, and he actually still owns company stock. And a few weeks ago, a few United Fruit board members held a secret meeting with the two brothers about the threat of Arbenz and his connection to the Soviets. And so the Dulles brothers are sold a lie, and they buy it. So in late 1953,
Bro, one thing I hate, right, is celebrities, influencers, or people with a lot of connections and power being fooled. I hate that shit. Like, you have connections, ask around. You would think like people with so much connection, so much power would take in information from one source and go ask other sources that they have, a way of contacting or have a relationship with. You would think they would ask questions. Like, why would you believe? Like, I understand that they have a previous relationship. They used to work with the company. You know, what I'm saying they used to represent them as a law firm. But why, as the director of the CIA, the what is he? State attorney general? I don't know. I forgot what this guy is. The other brother. Why would you not ask around? Now, obviously, I'm reacting from this video. Like, I have no other information about the Dulles brothers, United Fruit, other than like I'm reacting to this video. Like, why would you not ask around?
On the advice of both Dulles brothers, Eisenhower authorizes the CIA to overthrow Arbenz.
Oh my gosh! Even the president, the top guy, doesn't even ask around. I mean, it is the director of the CIA, but goddamn, Dwight D. Eisenhower, awesome questions. Now saying awesome question just for one time, just say, huh, I wonder if that shit is true. Let me go ask somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Just ask a question. Yeah, damn. I'm pretty sure this nigga's dead. The YD Eisenhower, he's probably dead somewhere.
But this actually isn't the first time they've tried to remove the Guatemalan president. A year earlier, the CIA launched Operation PB Fortune, a plan to arm a Guatemalan exile, Carlos Castillo Armas, to lead a coup against Arbenz. But as top secret Armas.
Look at the mustache he has, bro. Look at the mustache he has. He is up to no good. He is up to no good. You can't trust anybody with a short mustache like this. You simply can't. Even till today, where's this part? Where's this part? Why take it off? Why take it off? Up to no good, bro. You know I'm avoid saying who, man. You know I'm avoid saying who, but up to no good. You can't trust this. This is not a face. This is not a face of a person you can trust, bro. Don't trust.
To lead a coup against Arbenz. But as top secret reports about the operation got leaked to the public, the plan was deemed too risky and abandoned. However, with Cold War tensions now intensifying, Operation PB success is born. Once again, Castillo Armas will be the front man of the operation, but this time he's not working alone. See, the CIA secures backing from two of Washington's closest allies in the region, Anastasio Somoza, the dictator of Nicaragua, and Rafael Trujillo, the dictator of the Dominican Republic. Both are staunch.
I know black, papi. I know black. Look at I know black. What are you doing? Yo, that shit kills me every time a Dominican say I know black. It's like, bro, they like being black to some people is like one of the worst things that could happen to them. Yo, it is one of the worst things, and I say this as a black man. Like I've seen it. I've seen how people talk about like black people, and I've seen some black people like have such a high level of self-hate. I'm like, damn. Being black to some people is one of the worst things that could happen to them. Crazy, man. Crazy.
Anti-communists, loyal to US interests, and eager to expand their...
Man, they are not loyal to any US interest. They're not loyal to nothing. They are loyal to their money, bro. They're loyal to money. All these two people, the only thing they have in common is fucking greed. The only thing they have in common is greed. No loyalty right here. No loyalty at all. At all. They are loyal solely to their pockets. That's it. There's no US loyalty. They want money and fucking benefits. That's all they want for themselves, not even for their countries. They don't want to be remembered as, you know, the president who led the country to a new age or who reformed their country, you know, in a good way. They don't want none of that shit, bro. They want straight cash. Straight cash.
Own influence in Central America. Somoza will provide logistical support and training grounds for Armas's fighters. Trujillo will supply funding, weapons, and trained gunmen, his personal pistoljeros, to assist in the coup. Unlike PB Fortune, PB Success is bigger, more organised, and designed to leave no trace of US involvement. This time, the operation will be under direct oversight from both Dulles brothers. Its stated objective: to remove covertly and without bloodshed if possible the menace of the present communist-controlled government of Guatemala.
During these times, what was the US then? Like, where did they fall under? If they're labeling like all these other countries as communist or dictators or whatever, what did they fall under?
But behind closed doors, it's clear that bloodshed isn't off the table. In January 1954, a CIA officer submits a special request for a study on liquidation of personnel. The document is intended to brief the training chief before he departs for Honduras to begin training Armas's forces. Days later, a CIA cable requests 20 silencers for several .22 caliber rifles for delivery in Honduras. By this point, Armas is also compiling his own kill list to be carried out by his new personal assassination squads, known as K groups. A CIA meeting even discusses the potential elimination of 15 to 20 of Guatemala's top leaders using Trujillo's trained pistoljeros. In late March of that year, another intelligence officer pushes for a roll-up of communist leaders and government officials after the coup. As the coup takes shape, the CIA intensifies its psychological warfare campaign. In Guatemala City, dissidents and suspected leftists receive anonymous death threats. Coffins, hangman's nooses, and death letters appear outside their homes.
God
At the same
damn.
time, the CIA begins flooding the country with false reports of armed uprisings, defections, and sabotage. Weapons shipments are blocked, foreign aid is cut off, and American business leaders are warned to pull their investments. With the stage set, the CIA shifts its focus to military pressure. The agency reaches out to key Guatemalan officers, offering bribes, making threats, and urging defections. At the same time, Washington pressures neighboring countries.
They were actually gonna fucking starve this country. They were gonna starve this country. Bro. Y'all heard the preparation that was put in play just to stop this guy. This one guy. I guess the entire cabinet from doing good. From doing good to his own country, by the way. No other, judging from this video alone, the guy had nothing to talk about other countries, was not involved in other countries besides dealing with foreign businesses that were in his country. And they decided to do all of this because he said, I'm a little tired of the corruption in our country. I'm a little tired of the poverty levels, of the unemployment levels, of the fucking whatever levels that were going on in fucking Guatemala at that time. He was tired of all of it. He was like, let's just change. Simple as that. Let's just change. And they sent I can't even remember if he's a state attorney general or something, or secretary of state, something of that order, and the director of the CIA, and groups of basically kill squads after him, after this country. That is crazy.
To seal their borders. If Arbenz is overthrown, he must have nowhere to run. And so, on a hot summer's day in June 1954, Armas and his men cross the border from Honduras. As they advance, CIA radio stations go into overdrive. Reports claim they're seizing towns and that entire military units are surrendering to armors. None of it is true. With less than 200 men in total, Armas struggles to gain ground. In response, the CIA ramps up its pressure campaign. And then something happens. Months of endless propaganda, sabotage, and sanctions are finally paying off. Army officers suddenly start to defect in troves. Generals ignore Arbenz' calls.
I did say they were about to starve this country. And they did exactly that for months.
The Air Force, which should have been Arbenz' strongest asset, refuses to fight after increased reports of military surrender. And by June 27th, it's over. More than 9,000 suspected Arbenz supporters have already been arrested. That night, Arbenz gives his final speech. In it, he condemns the United States for what it has done to his country.
As he
He
should.
insists that he
As
isn't
he
a
should.
communist, and that his only crime was trying to free Guatemala. By
Facts.
morning, he's gone. Seeking asylum in the Mexican embassy, he later flees the country. 10 days later, Armas is made dictator. Despite the fact that Armas's government came to power in an illegal and violent coup, the US almost immediately
What did I say, bro? What did I say? You can't trust anybody with a mustache. This guy right here, he's not even, bro. Top lopper. I don't even use this word, but this guy, high level lopper right here. High level lopper.
recognizes the new government and provides foreign aid. And naturally, Armas wastes no time repaying his employers. He outlaws more than 500 trade unions and returns over 1.5 million acres to United Fruit and other large
This
landowners.
is fucking crazy,
In an
bro.
instant, Guatemala's hope of a democracy
This
is
is
gone.
crazy.
For the next 40 years, the people of
40 years. 40 years.
Guatemala
Oh my
will
gosh.
suffer from government terror without equal in the modern history of Latin America. In the cities, unmarked vans patrol the streets. Suspected communists, labor organizers, and anyone with ties to Arbenz's government are rounded up. Many are never seen again. Death squads, backed by the new regime, carry out kidnappings in broad daylight. Bodies, mutilated and burned, are dumped in public spaces as a warning.
Oh
And
my
those who dare to
gosh.
ask questions risk meeting the same fate. Over the coming years, Armas and his successors will crush all opposition with US support. By the time the Guatemalan Civil War finally ends in 1996, over 200,000 people will be dead. Most will be civilians. In 1999, during a visit to Guatemala, President Bill Clinton admitted that US support for the country's violent military regimes was wrong. Still, no compensation has ever been paid to the victims.
Did they even return the land at least? Did they even return the land? That was a lot of acres. That was a lot of acres. All because of United Fruit. One company, and I assume others were involved, but they were the only one named. But it's crazy. One company had this much influence. But yo, let me see if United Fruit Company is still in business, bro. I mean, the only good news we've heard from this fucking video so far is that the United Fruit Company, later United Brands Company, was an American multinational corporation that traded in tropical fruit, primarily bananas grown on Latin American plantations and sold in the United States and Europe. Holy shit. When did it end? 1970. I don't know if you guys can see this right there. June 13, 1970, defunct. Holy shit, man. I hope the land was returned back to Guatemala, bro.
Families, and there are no plans to do so. In fact, the US has never officially apologized for its role in the coup.
The problem we have is how to reconcile the necessity of the CIA with its secret offenses against our public morality.
nigga, return everything you took. Return everything you took. It's well, the problem we have is we just don't know how to bring back the shit we stole. We just love it so much. You see this Tesla? I understand it was your Tesla, but once it came into my possession, I understand why you love this Tesla. And I simply cannot fathom why I would return your Tesla back to you. Just return what you stole, gang. The problem we have, look, bitch, just return what you stole.
It's getting more and more difficult to be an American these days, and there doesn't seem to be much that we can do about it. Thank you, and good night.
According to all available evidence, no assassinations of Guatemalan officials were carried out by the CIA. Of course there isn't. They paid other people. I don't even know if paid. It was more like you would get benefits, I think. From 1995, CIA Historical Review Program. Elimination lists were never finalized. Assassination proposals remained controversial within the agency, and it appears that no Guatemalans associated with Arbenz were assassinated. Both CIA and State Department officers were divided and undecided about using assassinations. Really? Really now? Really now? I'm not even a conspiracy theorist, but really? Discussions of whether to assassinate Guatemalan communists and leaders sympathetic to communist programs took place in a historical era quite different from the present. Wow. Hey, this soundtrack is a banger though. Hey. Yo, shout out Penguin, man. Shout out Penguin. That was actually a nice video. Fuck United Fruit Company. Fuck them. Fuck all their companies. I forgot who I know like somebody from Honduras and an ex-Guatemalan, was it military officer? I can't remember their names. But fuck them too. Crazy. Yo, it's Chio too. And I'm out of here.